I posted a few videos and pictures lately of shooting this bad boy, a suppressed 9mm handgun, and I've got quite a few questions in different ways. I just want to kind of talk through it. One of the biggest questions is performance related. Does this make the gun better, worse to shoot, and kind of thoughts. So, a bit of real talk about it. Honestly, if you are looking to buy a suppressor, a 9mm pistol can is the very last one I would recommend you buy. So honestly, shooting with this, staying at my friend Nick Young's place, we were doing some night shooting, so we needed to shoot suppressed, just because of noise considerations for his neighbors. And shooting a 9mm handgun, you have to have more consideration for the ammo. Otherwise, shooting fast 115s, you get more gas. Sometimes the bullet it spits unburnt powder at you a little bit, so it depends on the powder that manufacturer loads for the ammo, or if you load your ammo yourself. That stuff plays into it a little bit. Typically, you want to shoot heavier bullets, so 124s, 135, 147 grain will shoot better out of these. So the heavier bullets going slower work better for noise suppression. And you also, depending on the powder, you don't want a bunch of unburnt powder in front of you, almost like a cloud. So at one of the times we were videoing recently at Nick's, it just got to the point I was doing rapid fire on a target and I could no longer see the target. I mean, even during the daytime, just because of just the right sun setting, the way the light hits the powder, whatever, it kind of just turns into a mess trying to see through it all. So these are definitely not like the movies. It's super fun. I'm glad I have it, and it makes for a fun toy. But if you're wanting to shoot performance with a handgun, this definitely makes it worse. The other thing, I had to put a heavier recoil spring in this 4-inch Walther PDP compact. I got an OEM Walther threaded barrel, and the barrel actually came with a different recoil spring. And I thought, well, we'll see if I need that or not. I just went and fired it just the way it was with the factory Walther spring. And what happened was, after shooting it, the gun would just stay out of battery, just a little bit sometimes. And then I could either kind of shake the gun or just tap it a little bit. Then it would go all the way forward. It just didn't quite have enough giddy up to push the round back into battery. So that's an OEM threaded Walther barrel. And then the recoil spring assembly it comes with is actually a different color. So this one, I don't know if you see it very well, but it's green. So it's a heavier, their factory springs are already heavy enough, but the threaded barrel came with a whole recoil spring assembly with a heavier spring, just because if you shoot suppressed, you need that. The other thing is the suppressors can come unthreaded. So just with shooting it for a bit, the issue is, well, there's left and right hand thread. So basically this is unthreading the same way the bullets are leaving the barrel out, the same twist rate. So if you shoot this a bunch, it will eventually at some point become a little bit loose. Even left-hand thread guns I've seen come loose also. So pistol suppressors are just one of those things that every 50 rounds, maybe 30 rounds, depending on how much you shoot, the gun, it's something where I'll hold the pistol with one hand, with the other hand grab the suppressor, assuming it's not super hot, and then just turn it to make sure it's kind of, honestly, as tight as, maybe not as tight as I can possibly get it, but putting a bit of force just to make sure it's really tight and secure on the gun. Because obviously you don't want it to come loose while you're shooting, because if the suppressor's flopping up and down, you can get baffle strikes, which means having a bullet impact the cap of the suppressor, which would be a big problem. So otherwise, those are all little nuances. And then with just shooting this, it's a heavy weight you're hanging off the end of the gun. So just target transitions and moving it around makes it more clunky. They make some suppressors, some specific holsters for suppressors like this. Like the T-Rex makes one that just clamps onto the light, or maybe it clamps onto the trigger guard somewhere. But the suppressor itself isn't going to be inside the holster. So getting it holstered is a little bit more of a pain. Overall, I'm glad I have this. I still have fun shooting it, but it's not a performance thing at all. And this, if you were tighter on money or looking at what suppressor to get first, a rifle can, 5.56 would be my first choice by far. Maybe then also a rimfire suppressor, because they're not super expensive and they're a lot of fun. The 22, my Ruger Mark IV pistol, it sounds like a staple gun when you're shooting it, just because it's so quiet, even with any ammo. And then this, with 147 bullets, it shoots, it sounds very quiet, but it's just not, it's not on the same level. It's really fun still, and I have it. The reason I actually got the can was for my HK, so one of the, like the semi-automatic MP5 basically, called SP5. So with this suppressor, I can change the guts and put a tri-lug mount on it, which is how it mounts to my MP5. But otherwise, it's just direct thread then with the booster for the pistol. So, in closing, yeah, this thing's super fun, and I have fun shooting it because it makes me feel like James Bond. But this isn't the first. If you're looking at getting your first suppressor, a 9mm suppressor is not the one I'd recommend. I'd recommend getting a 5.56 can or a 22 can just because it's fun. If you do get a 9mm can, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is fun. But performance, the fun outweighs the performance stuff. I don't put this thing on there because it's helping me shoot faster and more accurately. Just because it's fun, and I want to feel like James Bond. So hopefully that answers questions you have about 9mm cans. I've kind of got questions in a variety of ways, so I just kind of tried to go through the bases. But otherwise, the propellant, so the powder in the actual cartridge, and the bullet weight plays a large effect on how much fun you're going to have with it. Fast 110 or 90 grain 9mm bullets are not super fun, or kind of even fun at all to shoot. You'll want to be in the 135, 147 range. And then it kind of just depends on some ammos, like more preferable than others. I really like shooting Blazer Brass. 124 grain bullet is super good with this stuff. It's still got a little bit of a crack, but the whatever powder or propellant they use, at least in the stuff I've got, it doesn't spit back at you, no cloud. It's very nice. I'm sure their 147 stuff would be great also. I just haven't shot any of it. So, at least in the Blazer Brass. So, that's what I got for suppressors. Hopefully this, I don't know, gives you something to think about. Maybe talks you into or out of a purchase. But if you have any more questions, drop it below. I read through the comments, and I'll try to answer you if I can. Thanks for watching.